approximately 2:30, our officers were called to the residence behind me here on Ridgegate Court. This is in Mount Albert. It was for reports of a stabbing. When our officers arrived at the scene, they located a female party, an adult female who has been pronounced deceased. We have since learned that there are 3 other people who have been rushed to hospital with significant injuries. That is an infant, a young child, and a second adult female. There was an incident or an altercation with the suspect involving police, and the suspect is now deceased. The SIU has been contacted and they may be invoking and attending from there. We do want to ensure that the community knows that there is no ongoing public safety concern. As I said, the suspect we believe was involved with the stabbings is deceased, and we still have an ongoing investigation. You will see a significant police presence, but there is no concern for the safety of anybody else in this neighborhood at this time.
Can you speak to where the stabbing victim was located in the home?
My understanding is that there was a scene in front of the home, in the driveway area, as well as inside of the residence.
What is the state of the other victims in hospital?
As I said, we know that an adult female has been taken to hospital with injuries, as well as a child and an infant. In terms of the extent of the injuries, I don't have that information right now. Obviously, this is a terrible incident, and our thoughts are with all of them right now as they're in hospital.
How were they transported to hospital?
I don't have that information, I'm sorry.
Were the child and the infant attacked as well?
I don't know exactly what the details are. I just have the information that they were injured and taken to hospital.
What else can you tell us, possible, a little bit about the relationship between all of the victims?
At this point, I have very little information about the circumstances, who these people are, and what the connection is. This is very early in. We're about 3 hours or so after it's happened, so it's going to take some time for our investigators to determine all of those factors.
What else can you tell us? Anything else on this suspect that was shot by police?
Unfortunately, I believe he's an adult male, but that's all I have on him at this point. I think probably further information is best to come from the SIU involving that, because of the fact that there was that police and suspect interaction.
Would he be the individual that we might be seeing on the front driveway there? Would you be able to give us that information at this time?
I don't know. No answer. I'm sorry.
Do we have any idea of a motive?
At this point, it's far too early to determine what the motive is. Obviously, this is a very quiet and safe neighborhood, and I think that the community is going to be very shocked and very concerned about this having happened. So I do want to stress again that we don't believe there's any concern for anybody else. We do think this was an isolated and targeted incident.
The relationship between victims and all?
Yeah, I don't have any details yet on the relationship. We haven't confirmed yet who this is. Obviously, when somebody is injured and we have 3 people, especially young children and an infant, the priority is to get them to hospital and get that medical treatment happening. So it does take us a little bit of time to determine who we have and what the connection is.
What hospital were they taken to?
We don't disclose the hospital that victims attend.
One more time, if you could do a full breakdown on the victims, the total number of victims and age, what you can tell us about that one more time briefly, if you don't mind.
Yep. So as a full kind of rundown, our officers responded at about 2:30 this afternoon to the residence here behind me in Mount Albert. The initial information we had was that a stabbing had occurred. When we arrived at the scene, we determined there was an adult female who was deceased at the scene. There was an altercation between police and the adult male suspect, and the adult male suspect is now deceased. That portion is going to become an SIU investigation. And then in addition to that, we have located an adult female who is suffering from injuries, as well as, I'm told, an infant, as well as a young child. Now, they've all been taken to hospital with injuries, and I don't have a clear understanding yet of what the extent of the injuries are. But regardless, it's very concerning, and I think I can speak for all of us at York Regional Police, as well as our community, that we're thinking about them while they're in hospital.